Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We're going to take a closer look here at Axie Infinity. And just before we do, we look at Bitcoin, obviously, to understand a little bit more about the market, because I feel every good trader should do that. It's served me very well over the years. Now, if you're new to my channel, of course, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. Just know my role here is to hopefully help facilitate a good learning environment and help you become a better trader. And then more importantly, hopefully you can return the favor by liking, subscribing, perhaps even checking out my Patreon community and see if you want to show your support there, because I actually have a Signal trading community, really awesome group of folks, and we're all learning and growing together, and I send out signals for every single trade that I take. I trend 80-85% success overall. Now, taking a look here at Bitcoin, something to really understand is that we have a descending wedge pattern. It does look like there's a breakout here starting in the last 24 hours. So we'll see and pay close attention to that here. But the bottom line is that the price is breaking a little bit higher. And if we look at the 4-hour chart, we can see there are some higher highs and higher lows here, right? Okay, so that's a good sign. So we got that low there, high, low, potential high here. So if we can break this line right at about 63,600, we're going to be in pretty good shape. Okay, but all in all, not terrible at all for Bitcoin. We're in pretty darn good position here for a break to the upside. If it does break down, keep this in mind. We got 58 and 60,000 as a strong support level. Furthermore, we have a lot of volume right at about 54,000 if we lose the current support. Okay, just keep that in mind. We're all in good shape there. So let's go ahead and take a look here at Axie. Now, with Axie Infinity, what we're going to be looking at here, first of all, just a couple of things. So the previous support level, let's go ahead and actually first of all look at the one-day chart and see what's going on. I can see that we've got, well, we did break resistance here recently. So we broke the most recent high of 155, and it drove all the way up to about 160, I could round number, say 165 here today. Let's take a quick look at the Fibonacci, kind of see if there's any support and resistance levels. I do think I see one right there. Yeah, it does look like that's a pretty strong one there. So let's go ahead and mark that. 382 is a pretty consistent support level when it comes to a price increasing this high and coming down, because on average the price will essentially stabilize right around 50. In other words, 0.5 or essentially half the distance of its originally starting point. It usually consolidates right at that time, and then if we lose that, the secondary support is always 382. So it's always nice to have that as a support. And what we can do is just draw in a little resistance here as well, because that was also tested a couple of times at 618. Okay, so we're looking to be in pretty good shape here. Let's see here, take a look at the one-day chart. We're under 70, which is awesome, meaning that pump, albeit very good, was still not enough to drive it up over 70, which means we have more gas left in the tank. We also have a potential convergence on the MACD here coming up. That's a very good sign. I like to see that. It's definitely a positive, right? So we've got a couple good things going here for us. Now, when we look at the 4-hour chart, let's take a quick look at the SMAs. The 50-day simple moving average is working as a support potentially right now. So if we do lose this support level at about 137, we've got that 50-day SMA right about 129. So that's awesome. We're under 70 as well on the RSI and the 4-hour, so all good things here. I like what I see so far. Let's take a quick peek at the 1-hour chart. And obviously we're going to be above the cloud, but here's something to note. With the price kind of retracing, coming back down, potentially bouncing off support at 137, if it were to do that, there's a good chance that it could drive the price up, with the cloud being a potential support. This does happen more frequently in bullish scenarios. And just keep in mind also, if the price were to travel into the cloud, that would be considered not necessarily a sell signal, but a signal to not necessarily take a long position until the price breaks back above the cloud. That's the general rule of thumb for the cloud. Price above, it's a buy signal. Obviously, this is a perfect example. Price is above, buy signal, sell signal. It's, as you can tell, when it goes above or below, it has a tendency of staying in on that side for a little while until the cloud kind of reverses. So it's really awesome the way that the cloud does work. So if you're not familiar with it, just note we got the Ichimoku cloud. When you enable it, you just disable the first 5 options unless you really know what those entail. I would recommend doing some research. Of course, those are very helpful still, but keep it simple, just use the cloud. It's considered a plot background. All right, so let's go ahead and take a quick peek here. Next at TD sequential, we're obviously on the downswing, but as we can see, we reached a 9 here. So we had 9 hours of bullish momentum, and now we're followed by 4 hours in. So for lack of better terms, we could see retracement for another 5 hours, which would make sense for it to kind of come down and essentially rest closer to that support or possibly bounce off that support level. As we can see, it's worked as a support previously and even beforehand as well as a resistance. So it is essentially a good established line. So I trust 137 to do a good job of holding that price above, pending Bitcoin doesn't dip down to 55,000 tomorrow. We should be in really good shape. And again, the likelihood of Bitcoin dumping over the weekend is pretty low, just based on the fact that the whales are typically taking the weekends off, waiting for the market to essentially reset because they're out of the office. And Monday through Friday is more of a standard volatility market versus the weekends. You'll see more consistent increases or decreases on the weekends based on the simple fact that it's driving up prices from consumers like us, not those that have a tremendous amount of buying power, right? Either way, just something to note. So big picture here, let's go ahead and go back to the prediction here. It gives you a best case scenario and possibly even a realistic case scenario here. So let's go ahead and pull the Fibonacci back up. We'll go ahead and put this up right back here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take a quick look at where we could go, right? So better case scenario, say we were to pump up again and the price were to kind of hang out right around this resistance/support level 165. Then, if we were to leg up again, just say a couple days later, I would say 2 to 4 weeks from now, better case scenario, as long as the price can consolidate, go sideways and kind of relax before it increases again, we're going to see somewhere in the range of about 220. So 220, I think, would be the best case scenario for the end of November. Likely a lot higher leading into December and January, because that's when alt season really takes off. And this coin is no exception. It's done very well in the past, right? So if you take a look here, though, just look at these previous increases, right? We got this increase here. We got this increase here. When those ramped up, right, we got 150, 75% roughly. Then it went sideways for almost a full, what is that? That looks about a month roughly, right? Then we have this another increase here as well, right? So we got this guy here, kind of ramping up somewhere in the range of like 95%. And now we're going sideways here, okay? So it's trying to leg up. If it does leg up, it'll probably consolidate somewhere here around resistance. Then it'll probably leg up again eventually after that. But you got to keep in mind, it needs at least a couple of weeks to kind of recover. So that the likelihood of Axie Infinity ramping up tomorrow, I think, is fairly low. What might be advantageous to consider is wait for the price action to retrace down to 137, potentially add to your position or take a position. And then, of course, just set your profit targets at some of these levels, right? First profit target would be 164, second target 190, and then the third target just below 220, somewhere in the range like 215, 216. That's how I set up my profit targets. Every time I send out a signal to my community members, what we do is we always have 3 profit targets. The first one's usually just underneath the more relevant support, relevant resistance, which is this guy right here. So right at about 165 should be the resistance level, okay? Because it obviously got stopped out there today. So you put your profit target just underneath that. The next target would be just underneath whatever Fibonacci retracement line is appropriate. 618 is a pretty consistent one, so I'd usually just try to stay right under 618. And then my third target would be directly below, of course, a 272, right? So there's a lot of different scenarios you can pick, but if you want to have profit targets, I recommend trading bots. Those are the best way to go based on the fact that you can have trailing stop losses, and they're so awesome too. Like literally anytime I take profit, my trailing stop loss adjusts to my break even. I take profit number 2, it adjusts to profit target 1. And I just consistently adding to my portfolio based on just a full automated sequence with this bot that I give permission to my with my API keys, right? Anyways, we use Coinstats through our trading community. So it's all done through Telegram. So it's just quick and easy, one-click follow. I send a signal and my community members just go ahead and click and follow if they like, or they jump in when they want to. Really cool automated experience. But the other one that works well too is 3 commas. Check that out, of course, in your own time. That's a little bit better on the PC, or I would imagine Mac as well, where it's, I don't know if it's necessarily friendly via mobile. I don't use it that way. I'm mostly PC myself. But when it comes to Coinstats, that's really awesome. Fully automated through the applications, so it's really cool. Anyways, enough about that. Just recommending you consider always doing that, because you have to have a target in place before you jump into a trade. If you're just jumping in arbitrarily without any direction, you're not going to do well because you don't have a goal in place, right? Like the people that are the most successful in the world are those who actually set goals and attain them, right? How can you reach something that you don't know where you're going, right? That's the concept. So that helped me tremendously over the last 15 years to just kind of help steel myself to set targets for every single trade that I take. I assure you, you should do that the same way, and you'll find benefit. And if you'd find benefit in, getting more insider knowledge, so to speak, on how to become a better trader, join my Telegram community. It's more so referred to as CryptoCache Premium. Link in the description below, above, maybe one of the cards up there somewhere, and see if you like it, right? Check it out. I have a descriptive video that may or may not work for you. That's okay. If not, thank you so much regardless for joining me here. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one.